Hey everybody, Ted here. Every once in a while in the middle of a session with somebody, I'll hear myself saying something and think, oh, that actually makes sense. I know that probably inspires lots of confidence in my clients to hear that, but that's what happens. And sometimes the idea really stands out to me and I think I want to share this with people. So hopefully this makes sense to you, and maybe I'm saying something in a different way that 1,000 people have said before, but this is the thing that I had a realization about this morning, ironically. And it was about what we do with realizations when we're in therapy and we learn something about ourselves or a belief that we had that was maybe not helping us. And when we learn that, I'll call that a realization or insight. And so when we have many of these kinds of realizations throughout therapy. So let's say, for example, I realize that I've been a people pleaser my whole life, and that while part of me was helping people because I want people to be happy, there was also a part of me that felt like if I didn't do that, that I was a bad person, that I would lose the people in my life that I really needed. So that realization is like, oh, okay. It goes deeper than that. The way that I would say it is that there are 3 areas of implication for these realizations. There's a past implication. In the case of a people pleaser, the past implication of this realization is, I don't think I should have had to prove myself to all of these people. I shouldn't have had to worry about whether I would be acceptable only on conditions of making other people happy or feel good about themselves. I shouldn't have had to do that. The second area of implication for these realizations is in the present. So I shouldn't have had to, but that also means I don't have to. So realizing that some of the things that have driven me in the past aren't valid, it does free me up to be saying, you know what, I don't have to say yes to that person. I don't have to always put my own needs last. The third area of implication for these realizations has to do with the future, somewhat the present, but mainly the future. And it's in the form of a question. Because if I've always had to, and I realize I don't have to, the future question is, well, what do I do in those situations? So I know that I don't have to say yes when I don't want to, but what do I say instead? And if you've been down this road for a while, you realize, well, you can say no, or there's lots of different things, but you might not know that yet. When we have realizations, we often have this idea that the realizations are ultimately freeing. And they're like, oh, wow, I feel so free knowing that I don't have to be a people pleaser. I don't have to always put myself last in order to feel accepted by other people. Remember that each area of implication of the realization also brings with it some emotional response. So my past implication of realizing I didn't have to do all that, I'm probably going to feel some sadness for that me. I'm probably going to feel some anger towards the people and situations that made me feel like I did have to. In the present, the implication that I don't have to keep doing that might feel relieving, right? It might feel freeing. I might feel love towards myself in realizing that I matter even if other people are upset with me for dumb reasons. The future implication of this realization is a bit of a mixed bag, or it can be. The future implication is, what do I do instead, right? And the feelings that go along with that will range from freedom to, wow, I can actually make my own decisions. They might feel like I actually have some power and control in my own life, some self-efficacy. But often, and I would say most often, especially in the case of a people pleaser, the feeling is going to be anxiety. The feeling is going to be fear and confusion. Because while I've realized that I don't have to, I don't yet know what to do instead. If I've always been taught to put my needs last, and now I realize I don't have to, I might not even know what my needs are. I might not even know what I want. And so how am I going to respond to these situations? I don't know yet. And so sometimes when we get really caught up in the, well, what do I do instead? It kind of slows down, can reverse, delay, whatever words you want to use, this process. And so I would say, don't get ahead of yourself with, what do I do with this? Like, what am I going to do in the future? We probably need to first process the past implications and the present implications. And then as we do that, we learn enough about ourselves to start to be able to answer that question about the future implications. Anyway, I thought it was cool. Hopefully you do too. You like me, right?